He was pulled through a tiny 5-inch gap in a steel processing machine. As his body was squeezed through, most of his skeleton was broken and his stomach was ruptured. You see, he had leaned over to check something while it was turned off, but suddenly it restarted, hitting his back and dragging him inside. An ambulance rushed him to a hospital where doctors performed surgery, and miraculously, he survived. Years later, he even went back to the same company, only this time as a supervisor. The bullet struck him directly in the chest, knocking him off his feet. Laying on his back, he waited for the pain, but he felt nothing. You see, he just happened to have a couple of coins in his chest pocket, and when the bullet hit him, it slammed into them. The force bent them inward, and the bullet wedged itself deep inside, holding the coins tightly together. And this absorbed the bullet's force, stopping it from piercing his body and saving his life. If you cut open a cockroach, you'll get a tiny bit of cockroach milk. And that's because they produce this yellow goo to feed their babies, which then hardens into a crystal. Now, these crystals actually have more nutrients than cow's milk, but each roach only makes a tiny amount, smaller than a grain of sand, meaning you need to milk around 3,000 of them just to fill one glass. Rescuers found the crew scattered across the deck, frozen in terror, mouths open, eyes wide, and their bodies contorted as if witnessing something horrifying. There were no signs of injury or struggle, but something had clearly gone terribly wrong. Earlier, a haunting SOS message had been received, ending with a simple, "I die." Right as they were about to tow the ship, a fire erupted from the cargo hold, and they were forced to evacuate. They barely escaped before the ship exploded and sank, taking the evidence with it and leaving us with a dark, unsolved mystery. The spear gun shot directly at his face while he was cleaning it. It entered just above his eye, piercing his skull and going straight through the back of his head. And he was still awake when rescuers rushed him to the hospital. Doctors carefully removed the harpoon, but the spear had somehow missed every important part of his brain. The injury did cause him to lose vision in one eye, but he escaped death by inches. If a stork tried to carry a baby, it wouldn't even lift it an inch. That's because storks can only carry about half a pound, nowhere near the weight of a newborn. Even if 6 more storks joined in, they might barely lift it, but they would never be able to fly away. For a single stork to carry a baby, it would need a wingspan of over 20 feet, about the size of a small plane. They'll access the stomach through an incision if you have stomach tumors. Then they'll carefully detach it from surrounding organs and blood vessels. Next, they remove the stomach completely from your body. Then they connect your esophagus directly to your small intestine, so food can still pass through. Without a stomach, your body can't store and break down food as before. You'll need to eat smaller, more frequent meals. If you stick a nail into a lemon and a penny into the other side, the acid in the lemon juice will react with the zinc in the nail, causing it to lose electrons. These will then travel through the lemon and toward the copper in the penny. You can then attach a small light bulb with wires, and the lemon will work like a battery, creating just enough electricity to turn it on, all without plugging into a socket. If you get a blister, you might be tempted to pop it yourself, but you really shouldn't do this. You see, blisters form over an area of your skin that has been damaged, and it creates a protective bubble that's filled with fluid. This fluid acts as a cushion, safeguarding the sensitive skin underneath and allowing it to heal properly. When you pop a blister, you expose this delicate skin, which hasn't fully healed yet. Locals in East London noticed the water from their beloved pump tasted weird. Unbeknownst to them, there was a nearby cemetery, and the calcium from the human bones was seeping into the underground stream. What was once thought to be a source of health had become a deadly concoction. Hundreds died in what came to be called the Pump of Death. Even today, the pump stands as a landmark, its wolf-headed spout a haunting symbol of the horror it once unleashed.